When you know she's no high climber, then you find your only friend. In a room with your two-timer and you're sure you're near the end. Then you love a little wild one and she brings you only sorrow. All the time you know she's smiling. You'll be on your knees tomorrow. Yeah, you go back, Jack. Do it again. Wheel turning round and round, you go back, Jack, and do it again. This is the Community Solutions Podcast. Jason Bradley, Andrew Richter, coming to you straight out of the depths of our underground lair. And we're pulling no punches, and we're not lying to you like our current administration.
Okay, the song, I'm singing it in my head.
I'm
Sorry
sure you
for
are.
Spacing it out.
I'm sure you are. I didn't hide the rhythmic flow of it, so I'll give you a moment to think about that.
Let me ponder. I think I know it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a guy or a band.
Okay.
Okay? Because I used to think this was a guy because I said his name backwards. If it's who I'm thinking.
Okay.
It's Dan Steely.
Yeah.
Right?
Steely Dan, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When I worked it down in the valley.
I again.
I could remember somebody asking for Steely Dan. I'm like, you mean Dan Steely?
He used to be in a band with Pink Floyd.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but So I was looking in the wrong section. Let's put it that way for Dan Steely. I know there's amazing
awesome.
things that are the truth.
Yeah.
Yes. Steely Dan Steely, same.
That's good.
Same thing.
Yeah.
You know.
That's fine.
Jay,
Yeah.
two things before we get into our usual. I'm sparing you the September history lesson
Okay.
for another week or two.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just going to...
That's all good by me.
Yeah, I know. It's too early in the month to do it. We'll keep everybody waiting another week or two for that. But I got to say this.
Yes.
Are you now pumped up for the Minnesota governor's race? Now that Michelle Benson made it official and Paul Gazelka just quit the Senate. Are you pumped?
Wait. Gazelka quit the Senate?
I think so.
Oh, I'm excited as can be.
I want to know, does that make it even? 33 to 33?
I don't know.
They're going to appoint somebody up there? I don't know
I don't know.
They can't, but
I don't know, but
or maybe he quit as majority. I don't know what it is,
okay.
but he's not
I
running
see.
for re-election, obviously. So he's,
best thing that's happened to the Minnesota Senate in the last 2 years.
So the top two Senate leaders going to run for governor. That's not a good transition, I don't think.
No, but we'll see what happens because Dr. Scott Jenson might have something to say about that, and hopefully we'll have a chance to talk to some of these people coming up.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, I could not be more unexcited, and it looks like I'll be writing in Seymour Butts or Hugh G. Rection again or something like that. So, I'm just unexcited. Couldn't be the better word for me to say. I mean, if I do hold my nose in the air and vote Republican, that could happen. But it seems like the Republicans can't touch Walz.
Yeah.
I mean, am I just wrong, or is it just...
At least the ones that are elected. I will say Scott Jenson has took some swipes at him. Gazelka has just held out long enough to
try to get people to forget.
Don't know what.
She definitely lacks some vim and vigor. I think it's, look, you got to get, here's the thing. These candidates have to screw the endorsement. The hell with the endorsement. That means nothing in this race. Nothing. I'm sorry, but 800 people in Rochester mean nothing to the rest of the state. You have to go for the constituencies you're not getting. And that's what I'm not seeing. Even there's a lot of things Jensen says that I like and agree with. But again, what constituency is he going to go after? What he says
I'll
is
tell
popular.
you this. If I were him, I would go to inner city Minneapolis and say, hey, I agree with you guys. You're not getting vaccinated. I agree with, because of his
You're
stance
reading my mind, though. I was just going to say that the Republican that screws the endorsement, don't go toss in the areas where, instead of losing it 85-15, you lose it 74-26.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to move the needle.
And to go down there and say, hey, you guys are not getting vaccinated. I know you're getting pushed from the Democrats to get vaccinated.
Or how about chaos in these cities?
Yeah, that's another thing that he can go after.
But I mean, again, Republicans sit in their Zoom meeting and talk about it, but they don't go down and talk to the people who live there.
No, it's much more enticing to complain about it and feel like you're moving the needle when you're not.
The average 53 to 46 race, if that's what Jeff Johnson did. He just stood there and played to the base, and that did nothing for him, and he went backwards. And I don't see look, I'm biding my time for 2026, Jay. That's just all I'm doing. Okay. Walz will win again.
All right.
He won't run for a third term. It'll be an open seat when I run. Now, let me say something else.
I don't know. I can't do another 4 years of Walz, but okay.
Well, you're going to have to. Let me say something else here.
Yeah.
And look, with redistricting and stuff, who knows what's going to happen in the House and Senate. I think the CDs maybe, although CD1, I think, is the place where you're really going to see something. I don't think Hagedorn's going to run again. That's just not based on anything.
No,
I'm not on the inside anymore.
Jennifer Carnahan, if he doesn't run.
We
talked about that last.
It'll be an open seat. Let me ask you this, though. We've been harping on Afghanistan for the last couple of weeks. Have you seen the latest rounds of approval ratings for the president?
I'm trying to remember if I saw his. I saw Kamala, the Ugandan Giants approval ratings.
That's interesting to me.
They're even lower.
Because I have never seen, other than Dick Cheney, I have never seen a vice president's approval rating before. Never saw one on Pence. Never saw one on Biden.
True.
Never saw one on Al Gore until he ran for president himself. I don't remember ever hearing, except Dick Cheney. It was taken like every day they took an approval rating on him and then just started that narrative. The narrative. And quite frankly, the Bush-Cheney team was not very good at combating that. The president is underwater pretty much everywhere.
He's like 46?
No.
He's lower than that now?
The latest, hold on. I want to get this right here. USA Today now has him down at 41.
Ooh, goodness.
This is from the NewsHour Marist poll where that's by NPR. He's been high in that.
Yeah.
Has him down to 43. And that is from NPR. The USA Today has their own poll out. Survey USA Today, which is two things together. If you go to the 538 blog, it'll show a bunch more. Yeah. And he's pretty much like low 40s everywhere. Now you might say, no big deal. It happens. It's a reaction to Afghanistan. First off, that's not true because typically approval ratings take time to sink in. Over time, I'm going to see what you think.
He's only got 3?
Well,
that's generous.
I think he's got 3 that are glaring. He's probably got 5 million, but I'm going to say 3. And quite frankly, I don't know how he gets the nose up on any of them.
No.
Okay, I'm going to start with how the White House is operating. The president, MIA.
Yeah.
Vice president, MIA. You got a pandemic. You got Afghanistan. You got hurricanes. You got inflation. President nowhere.
Right.
Here's the dilemma. The more he goes out there, I say it goes down further. I think it gets worse the more he talks.
That's true.
I mean, he goes out for a scripted questions and he can't even get those right.
The reporters, I'm supposed to ask this.
Yeah, I mean, Stephanopoulos, trying to help him. Right. Now, that was 2 days ago. No, I don't think so. No. So, I mean, how do you turn that around? Who in this administration is the new face of it?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. You're going to put Blinken out there? You're going to put Aspen out there? Jeez. God, you might as well surrender.
Blinking like a deer in headlights.
Yeah, I mean... So that's one.
Blinken. Yeah.
Okay, number 2.
Yes.
And we've talked about Afghanistan a lot, and I'm telling you it's not going off the front pages. I'm worried because you're going to get a news blackout pretty soon from Afghanistan, what's really happening over there. And we may not get to know all of it. But I think, again, there's Americans still there. There's people we abandoned. There's weapons.
There are thousands. I know the administration says 240. That's a lie.
That's a total lie.
That's a lie. It's not even close.
And lying about it makes it worse. What is it
And
with these politicians?
there are journalists and people with the media that are stuck over there,
Yeah,
Afghanis and stuff. And I know that makes the journalists here upset, which will keep it in the cycle for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, I still think there's going to be hearings on this. And
Oh, there has to be.
I mean, the Democrats could quash it. They're not quashing it. That tells me that there's...
Well, kind of. I mean...
No, but the Senate, I don't know that they can stop it in the Senate.
Yeah.
At a 50-50 Senate.
I don't know that they can either.
I'm not sure they can. I think the vice chairman can force a hearing. But, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, I mean, Bob Menendez has said worse things about Biden than 2/3 of the Republicans have. I mean, clearly there's they weren't informed, or they feel they look stupid, and there's a damage control going on. But I don't think they can avoid. I don't think you're going to see the Joint Chiefs, and they're going to have to go to Congress. And
how are some of these people not already out of a job?
Well, because
Lloyd Austin,
because the Biden administration right now is double
Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, I think
how's he not out of a job?
Can't lip sync either. I think it's because the administration is doubling down that what you said is going to happen. This will go off the front page in a month. We'll be on to something different. But I think this is the kind of thing that lingers. I think, especially when you watch it on TV, I watched people fall from airplanes. I watched people.
Yeah.
I saw people get interviewed. I think certainly the alternative media is not going to drop this, and of course that's gaining, whereas old media is declining.
I hope so.
And I think the American people strangely are seeing through it. If you look at his approval ratings on Afghanistan, they're in the low 20s. You don't climb out of that.
No,
I don't. I mean, the war isn't on Biden, but
Right.
this piece of it is.
It is, absolutely. How he handled this is all his fault. That he gave up Bagram Air Force Base, that he gave all of our stuff, our equipment.
I'm worried most
the
about
Blackhawks, the goggles,
They just gained 10 centuries.
Yes, overnight.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that was what our government gave up. Not to mention, of course,
Granted,
human beings that are there.
Took them 4 hours to figure out that it was night vision goggles and not a diaper. But but once they got that figured out, see, eventually they'll get around. But I don't know. It will stick around because there are people that are determined to see it stick around. Just watching some of the stuff speaking of alternative media on the Blaze over the past week, there's stuff they're not able to say yet because it's not safe for the people that are still stuck there. But once they're able to talk about it, they are talking about direct evil that has come out of our State Department. Yeah. This is not some oversight of or some bureaucratic mess up. This is intentional decisions to do. I don't know what the details are yet, but just judging on how upset some of these people are that are talking about it, that are in the know, I'm eagerly awaiting hearing what those things are and if that pushes this. Although they've been in meetings supposedly with senators and with Congress people, so that may push some of those hearings.
Bridge and
yeah,
people forget about politics first.
Yeah.
These are our countrymen here.
Does he get impeached? And if he gets impeached, does he get removed from office?
I don't think so. And I think that's the wrong way. Again, I still think that's the wrong way to go. I think we went through 4 years of that crap.
I know.
And look.
Here's the one
thing. It's not going to happen in this next year and change.
Right.
And if Biden's is bad, I don't want the country to suffer for 3 years.
Yeah.
But you go off and let's say you remove Biden. Let's say a miracle happens and Biden's removed. Okay, then Harris is the president.
Right.
We haven't fixed anything as far as policy. All we did was get somebody just as dumb 30 years younger.
Right.
So, I don't know that's... there's a principle behind it. But I think, again, every time the opposition goes off in that talk, they're missing an opportunity to talk about the issues. They're missing an opportunity to move the needle permanently.
They need to do that, absolutely. But here's the other thing. They need to expose everything that happened, and that may end up in an impeachment.
Yeah, it may.
I don't want some charade impeachment into a tit for tat where it's like, oh, they did this, now we're going to do this, they did this, now but
I think that's how it'll be portrayed, though. I think it could boomerang.
But let me tell you this, the Constitution says for what? Bribery, high crimes, and misdemeanors. And if in fact that they can prove that there has been bribery or high crimes or any of that kind of stuff, they need to pursue that, because you cannot have a guy like that running our country.
Yeah,
and there has been bribery, because there's been not so perfect phone calls where he's on the phone with the president of Afghanistan before he hightailed it out of the country, saying, hey, here's all this stuff. Now here's what we need you to do.
I don't know. It all needs to be out there. I just think, I honestly think a trickle of this is a problem too, because that's where, people don't connect the dots. I mean,
right.
You can't trickle this. This can't take 6 months.
And people get fatigue. They just want it to be done. Exactly. So you gotta be fast with this stuff. Not careless. You gotta be thorough, but you have to be quick.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I didn't even get to think what I think the biggest problem is.
What?
The economy and inflation.
That's another huge one. What about the border?
Well, the border
that's a fourth one.
And quite frankly, that probably should be higher. Again, I put some of that on Republican governors.
Yeah.
Because they're sitting there claiming they can't do anything, and make these cities who are taking in illegal aliens and have, what do you call it, the safe zones, or what do you call it, sanctuaries. And they don't do that. They're all talk. Governor of Arizona's all talk. Governor of Texas is all talk. They could stop it for the most part if they wanted to, and they refuse to. They go to a campaign rally and say one thing. That's what drives me the most crazy.
Right.
You're not seeing it to Florida, though. I think Governor DeSantis means business, but I think some others don't. Now, let me just say this. I want to get back to inflation for a second. The president and his team, don't even acknowledge that inflation's taking place. Now, you asked the average person months ago, and everybody about it. I sit here and I thought about this today. There's simple ways to help curb inflation.
Yep.
Okay. Cutting spending.
Yeah.
Interest rates going back to where they should be.
Got to be careful with that, though.
Printing money.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just saying.
Stopping printing money, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Stopping printing money. There's plenty of things that could be done.
Mm-hmm.
President Biden's not in favor of any of them.
Right.
So how does he stop it when the things that you could stop it are
creating shortages
artificially
in gas and in food
and in labor? That's the big thing, is the labor, because the food is there, but we're not.
It is, but
we're not. We don't have enough people who are getting.
Farmers are looking at culling a massive amounts of their animals this year, because there's not going to be the employees, like we said, with labor, to be able to process the meat.
Drive the trucks, work at the store. Yep. The chain of things is still very disrupted. So, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do to curb it with all the things you could do. And you're right. You got to be a little careful about that. But, I mean, we're still encouraging borrowing. We're still spending through the roof.
Yep.
We're talking about permanent, universal basic income.
Right.
We're still printing money like crazy. We're not even taking baby steps. Yes. Not only is the president not acknowledging this, his policies are making it worse.
Absolutely.
Now you tell me, okay? You're not going to curb inflation in a week either. Mm-hmm. It could take a year. It could take 3 years, especially if you're on the wrong track too long.
Right.
So where do we go? You and I talked about inflation a year and a half ago.
We did. I know.
We said we'd be here. We're here. Mm-hmm. So what do you do to change course? They're going to stop spending in Washington? I mean, what?
Stop eating. Stop driving.
Yeah.
Become a vassal state of serfs.
I don't know who the
don't know.
Secretary of the Treasury is.
Starting point.
That'd be a good test.
Yeah.
Maybe you could test out of something by giving this person that. My God. I mean, there's real debt out there among people, and I see this president again with just no ideas, no desire, no sense of urgency. I mean, there's zero out of it.
There's not just the people who are borrowing, though. The banks are borrowing record amounts, too.
Borrowing,
and that is so dangerous.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's what they're doing.
Right. It's so dangerous. That used to be seen as a super shameful thing for the banks to have to go and say, I'm sorry, we didn't have enough cash on hand. I kind of need to borrow. We'll get you paid back tomorrow. Now it's like every night, millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, tens of millions, hundreds of millions being borrowed every single stinking night.
Yeah. Borrowed from who?
From the Fed.
Yeah.
They go to the emergency window at the Fed, and they get these millions of dollars because they're short what they're loaning out.
Well, why don't the Fed give me anything when I go there?
Oh, you just wait. They will.
I don't want it.
They are creating. That's part of the long-term plan, is to create a Federal Reserve account for you, where they can put their U.S. digital dollars in, and then they can either
that'll
put
go the
money
way
in.
of the continental dollar.
It won't. No, that's going to be the new standard. They'll give you about, from what I hear, and based on what has happened in other countries, it might be like a 60% exchange rate for your greenbacks. And then they will be able to put money directly into your Federal Reserve account or take money out of your Federal Reserve account directly based on what they feel that they need to do.
I'm not going to give them permission to do that. I'm going to withdraw it all from there.
Yeah?
There's going to be zero in there.
Draw it. Because they're you and I are enemy number.
You think that's going to happen, though? You think that'll happen?
I think at some point it'll have to, because our dollar is so damaged that you would have to have somebody come along who actually wants to stop spending, and that is one of my few criticisms of President Trump. It damages our dollar.
Put that on Congress as much too. But
absolutely. Damages our dollar to the point where our dollar is weak, and we have enemies that are actively trying to get rid of the dollar as the world's reserve currency.
Yeah, it's been the world's reserve currency forever. And you know what? What's funny is when you say period about President Trump, I'm always struck by during the lame duck period last December.
Yeah.
When he went ballistic and vetoed a few bills, and blah, 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 and how easily they were passed over his veto.
Yeah.
Something like 91-9. I mean, way over.
Yep.
And it was kind of like, hence the problem. I mean,
don't get me wrong. I love the man. I think he did a fantastic job, but
it just seems like you can't crack that.
Yeah.
You just can't crack it. And when he threatened to veto that hodgepodge thing the year before that was passed 87-11.
Yeah.
And he couldn't, or whatever his name is, was in on the negotiations.
Marvin the Martian. Yeah.
And I think that kind of torpedoed any effort to veto it. I think he wanted to. But when something goes, what does Congress agree on? 87-13, other than
money.
huge spending. I know.
Yeah. But all of that, the printing, the levels that we're printing at, the printers don't ever shut off. I mean, granted, it's all now kind of digital. They're not really printing it, but yes.
But that's almost worse because it's harder then to have deflation. How do you have deflation when there's not real currency out there? It's all make-believe.
Right.
So I mean, like you take go back to the Andrew Jackson days for a minute. You take a silver or gold, what you call specie.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that is something real. Okay, that can go up and down in value.
Yep.
Versus quote unquote greenbacks, paper money. Now you're not using either.
Right.
Okay, so you got no control over what's digitally printed in theory somewhere. But gold and silver, it's very, very different. So I mean,
we have all these natural resources that we can be tapping into in Alaska, like the greatest. Instead, we're not touching any of it, but yet China is exploiting all of these countries, getting all of their lithium, getting all of these other things
Yeah.
that they copper and
Where are the environmentalists, by the way, in the Gulf of Mexico when Mexico drills for oil?
Yeah.
Where are they? Why should it matter who's doing it?
Yeah.
Where are
And Mexico supplant us and not making any strides.
Yeah.
We're going backwards.
No,
and
America's dying.
Yeah.
We're a dying nation. I mean, that's really the truth, and I don't like saying that, and I never thought I'd say it. But we are on the decline. In all great, I don't want to use the term empire, but all countries that have dominated the world fall from within, and we're doing it in record time. I mean, at least the Romans had, a few more centuries. But
We're doing it in about, 7-8 months?
Yeah, if you take the 60 million years that the world, we're like a blip on that. We're like page 5 gazillion.
Yeah. But I don't know. Can we turn it around? Yeah, but we've got to have enough will to be able to say we're not going to elect people by party anymore. We're going to have to look at them, and we're going to have to say, you know what, Pelosi, Schumer, Biden, Ugandan giant, they're terrible. Get them out.
Along with McConnell
McConnell, Lindsey Graham.
But I'm going to say something too. I don't think that's how it turns around. I think it turns around by people just saying, not taking free stuff anymore.
That's part of it too.
Not looking at your government, going back to President Kennedy, and not looking at what handout can I get, whining that your extra unemployment is gone, looking for another stimulus check. I mean, it's going to take that, I think, to really turn it around. Because one election can happen. Somebody like President Trump can win. Somebody like Jesse Ventura can win. If it's not followed up with if the pendulum swings back after that, which is what's happened, you're almost in a worse position than you were. Mm-hmm. By the way, what do you make of this California ballot?
My word, it's like an election in Minneapolis.
I'll tell you what. I
Yeah.
haven't liked it from the beginning because I think Newsom survives this, and I think it makes him stronger. I think it's a mistake to do this.
I like Larry Elder.
Love Larry Elder, but I know Caitlyn Jenner is your
I just said love Larry Elder, didn't
I?
We are recording this. We can go back and revisit my comments.
I had to get a Bruce, a he, she in there. But, I say he survives it in.
I don't know. It's going to be about harvesting
But
and
everybody
other
everybody got their mail-in ballot because we used COVID to change the rules.
Right.
And they also, everybody who's in California and maybe used to live in California or, is dead or whatever's gotten a ballot. Mm-hmm. And I think the Republicans' failure to unite behind a candidate, their failure to, I think, articulate the case as to why. They did that very well against Gray Davis. They did not done that well here.
No.
So,
nobody likes Newsom. That is the one thing that there's not a lot of energy to go out and support him, I don't think, because nobody likes him. The whole reason is we can't have a Republican. That's going to be what saves him.
Yeah, it's going to be the label.
It's
fixed. It's rigged.
Yeah.
It is. All right.
Yep.
Speaking of fixed and rigged.
Don King might as well be the Secretary of State.
I like Don King. I think Don King's cool. The only thing, that Rocky V, that was based on Don King. He was a ripoff of Don King.
Yeah.
I think it's great. George Duke. I think it's great. I think Don King's great. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Good old District 281. I'll tell you what, the gift that keeps on giving. The unified district vision. The equity plan.
Yes.
Which is basically the same thing we had years ago rewritten. And now we have somebody who stepped down from the school board. But Jay, she wants you to know that you are the reason why.
Me, huh?
Maybe me too. She's probably listened to our podcasts.
Yeah.
If she hasn't, she should. And she's the only one who hasn't. Love or hate us. Okay. Back on. I love how when somebody resigns, then they set a date in the future to resign.
I know.
Yeah, I'm quitting, but I ain't leaving for a while. You know, I'm going to quit, but I'm hanging around for a bit. Pam Lindbergh announced on July 19th at the school board where they're like behind like bulletproof glass windows there to make sure nobody gets a molecule on anybody. I mean, my God, talk about embarrassing.
Yeah.
Think they got a mask mandate? I mean, cripe. What a bunch of cowards. Has announced that she will resign her seat, but it was only effective on August 17th. But Jay, it's your fault.
It is, huh?
Because it was due to verbal attacks from the district community.
Well, it wasn't me. This is the first time I'm ashamed to say it, but I don't know who's on my school board. I just know they're all bad.
I know a few of them. That Vento guy's still there.
Yeah, he's there.
Helen Bassett is still there.
Is she?
She's been there forever.
Or maybe she's on her final term.
I don't know. I got it all mixed up when they went to even years. I don't know who's up anymore.
But yes, Vento and Bassett, I know.
There's some Boone guy. David Boone, Daniel Boone. Daniel Boone.
Daniel
like
Boone's
that.
on it.
That's all I can name.
Okay.
Verbal attacks from the community. In other words, criticism from the people she represents. Let's put it that way. Blah, 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 blah. This is from the Sun Post. Who cares? Who cares? I don't care where she went to school. Lindbergh publicly announced her resignation. She read aloud a letter she had prepared, which was addressed to Daniel Boone, her fellow board members. It's been a privilege, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. The incivility and at times abuse of the community toward the board and our hardworking administration and toward the school district in general.
Maybe you're not doing what they want you to do. You're there to serve them, and you're there to take care of their kids. And maybe you're not doing it.
Was she union endorsed?
I don't know.
Probably
if she's standing up for everybody like that. To look at
this, I'd like to see what was. I mean, there's what? Crystal, New Hope, Robbinsdale, Golden Valley, parts of Plymouth, parts of Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center. Yeah. It's bigger than a Senate district. It's a big place. Okay, the fact that there might be a few nut jobs.
Pretty good chance. I mean, I can name a few of them in Crystal.
I could have saved email I got when I ran for mayor, and it would probably top anything this woman brings out. Whatever. I mean, look, I don't endorse. It's one thing to email people and say your concerns and be passionate about it. I don't endorse all that kind of terrible stuff. But in 2019, she received, alleging comments she received were anonymous or racist in nature and often occurred via social media.
Wait, they were racist comments? Looking at her picture, she's a honky.
For sure.
There's no.
They must have disagreed with critical race theory or something.
That must be it. Yes.
Yeah, they didn't support all 39 genders, so therefore they're a bigot.
All right.
She mentioned a particular email exchange via in which a community member used a fabricated name in an email account. Oh, zippity doo dah. Okay, I got an idea. Let me tell you something. If I spent all day engaging morons on social media, okay, I'd probably be dead of a stroke by now. And come on here. I mean,
should read some of the comments to our Twitter account.
Yeah, but I mean, a comment. If the person's using a fake name, then it could be somebody in Tibet for all you know.
It's your brother-in-law, and he's sick and tired.
Could be some teenager bopping his banana. I mean,
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean, what in the winter? I mean, why don't we bad, hate-filled, and disrespected behavior? Ooh, the hate is so much. I no longer feel respected or effective. Well, respect is earned. And effectiveness is results-driven.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe that's telling you something.
Yes.
So they go on and on and on, blah, 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 don't care. Steps to fill the empty seat. Isn't that wonderful?
Oh,
And
of course they have a plan.
And Lindbergh goes, really, this takes some gall.
Yeah.
Okay. The school board must decide to either appoint a new member or serve or elect in a special election. While Lindbergh acknowledged the decision to elect or appoint would be made by the remaining board members, she appeared to offer her support for an appointment.
Of course, because then...
Hey, I got it. You're going to quit and go home?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You don't have a say.
Instead, I would like you to appoint somebody like me, except that has a
exactly.
backbone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to support it. But you know what? Go home and bake cookies. Let it to the people there who are staying. I would prefer not to have my resignation force a special election and cost the board of district several.
Oh, that is always with it. Then let me ask this question: Did you support or not support the last referendum that cost taxpayers millions of dollars,
or the last committee search firm for a new superintendent? I mean,
don't tell me about fiscal responsibility. It's always fiscal responsibility when it comes to a special election, and then they can usurp the responsibility and like basic responsibility of government. A basic function of government is to provide for the people to choose who they want to represent them. And you people keep finding reasons to have these appointments so that you can handpick and select the people that think like you, because you cannot handle diversity. You can't handle diversity of thought. You can't handle diversity of religion. You can't handle diversity. No, you have your little club of what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. And everybody that's on the outside is not allowed. So you have to handpick from your selected group of...
All right, Jay, go catch your breath.
There's your sign-off sermon. Good night.
Yeah. Are you all red-faced or are you sunburned? Yeah. The old Bradley rant a little early in the show.
Yes.
I want a quote from his page on the district.
Okay.
The schools and communities that make up Robbinsdale area schools have long and distinguished history, maybe when I was there, and we continue to evolve. Like districts across the nation, we are responding to drastic changes wrought by the pandemic, racial and social inequities, climate change, and more.
Lord.
It's not math, English, science. No. It's racial inequities.
Right.
Everybody's going to have the same math score. Yeah, let's find me a group of 5 adults that you could have math equity in, and you won't find it.
Right.
Are these people? I mean, this is crazy. People are lunatics.
How many of you out there in our listening audience read? Better make sure I have the book right. It was 1984, right? It wasn't
George
Brave
Orwell?
New World, where it was like 2 + 2 = 5.
Oh, I've heard that. I don't know where that's from.
Sorry,
Almost math, they used
get
to
my
call that.
dystopian books mixed up at the moment, but we thought that's stupid. Nobody's ever going to think 2 + 2 = 5.
Well,
That's dumb.
It's close enough, Jay. Grading on a curve.
Exactly. Now we're at a place where 2 + 2 can equal 5. And it doesn't just equal 5 in math. It also equals 5 when we're trying to figure out, a man can have a baby. He can call himself a purple porpoise, and that's a new gender.
But maybe I should tell my boss my hours times my wage equal this. Close enough, right?
Right. I Common Core math. I got...
Don't they sing in math class now?
Maybe.
You know what, Jay? I'm going to be honest with you. There are days I'm glad I'm not a parent. I don't think I could. I mean, I don't know how you handle it. I really don't. I don't know how you don't.
By venting on a podcast. Yeah. That's how I handle it.
I don't know how you don't parachute into these meetings and just go berserk. Because I don't know. Anyhow.
Yes.
Of course they chose to do an appointment.
Of course. After all, it's only...
I hate calling it a democratic process, by the way.
But, I mean, it is because you are getting...
I know what you mean.
We are in a democratic republic or a constitutional republic, but the process of selecting is a democratic process because everybody gets a chance to vote that has the right to vote. Okay? And whether you choose to use that right or not, that's up to you. But here's the thing. These people sit back there and they say, oh, the voter suppression and we can't have people show IDs. The biggest form of voter suppression is appointing somebody to a local body because you don't want to run a special election. Well, that's voter suppression.
They're saving us money, Jay. That's the whole thing. I want to see the savings on the budget, too.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see.
I want to see that line where
let's
that money
see that
saved.
they didn't spend it on something else, right? They got a slush fund now of $1,200 or whatever it is.
Besides, with mail-in ballots, I mean, you don't have to hold polls and anything like that, right? So anyway, and this is what I love. I mean, you got to give the district credit because nobody could screw things up like 281. Okay. On their Facebook page.
Yes.
And I, quote unquote, like their Facebook page. I think I'm trying to be a point. The Senate 45 DFL hasn't kicked me out yet.
Oh, well.
I've been on there for a long time. They got some cross-dresser that runs it. Anyhow, I go to the
you're done as soon as by the time this airs.
That's fine. There's nothing good on there anyway. I just laugh at it once. Although I'll give them credit, they're promoting this appointment.
Of course, they are.
I'm not seeing it on any.
No, it won't show up anywhere else. So
okay,
yeah.
But so I go to. I'm trying to find out info on this.
Yes.
Okay. You go to Robbinsdale's website. Applications in by August 30th. Now that date's passed.
Yes.
I go on their Facebook page.
Yes.
And they have a post promoting applying that was dated August 31st. So we've got a little
the Common Core math again.
Yeah. Close enough. We got a little issue with
I think I would use that if I turned mine in late. Hey, I need an equal opportunity.
But see, here's the thing. I want to know what the process is because if you go and just give me 1 second here to bring this up on this stupid phone. If you go to the page about the special, appointment, it says on there, and if you click to apply, okay. Oh, where the hell is it? God. They don't make this simple either. It takes you to like this 3 or 4 step thing. Mm-hmm. You got to enter your email. Because I wanted to see what the questions were.
Yeah.
I wanted to see what they ask you to be, and I was going to kind of have fun with it, see if we could lie a little bit. Maybe I'd get you to apply or something like that. Yeah,
because I got all the time in the world to sit on there. It'd take me a while, but
yeah, yours isn't thinning out like mine is. Okay, let me try something here.
You see those pictures about how presidents age over an 8-year period. You'd take that over an 8-year period of me sitting on that board, and I'd look like Methuselah at the end of it.
President Bush, President Obama.
Yeah.
Look at the days they walked in and the days they left. Whether you like them or not.
Sometimes I feel like I've aged just sitting on this end of the microphone.
Funny, I watched President Bush say something right after he got elected. I'm like, look at how dark his hair is.
Yeah.
It's like an online application. When you hit this, Board Search 2021. Hang on, my phone's a little slow for some reason. The first thing it asks you, school board application. You click on that, and it wants your email.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it doesn't and I was thinking about putting a phony email in.
Yeah.
Of course, I have to complete it by August 30th, 2021 at 4 p.m. But we could put, rectum or something in there and see what happens.
Really?
But why do you have to put your email in before? Why can't I see what they're asking people on this application? I mean, don't you think it's kind of relevant to know what people who are going to represent you that you didn't pick are saying about some of these things?
What? I don't care. COMM Solutions, mn@gmail.com. Put it in.
Okay.
Put it in. Let's go through it. We just won't submit it at the end. It'll be fine.
COMM Solutions?
Yeah, that's our web address or our email address.
I knew that.
Yeah.
.com.
At gmail.com.
That's what I did.
Yeah, okay.
Name, address, blah, blah, blah. What are we going to put, Jay?
I don't know. Do we have to? Is it just one by one question?
Yes. There's no.
Are you serious? Oh, for the love of Pete.
Seymour Butts.
Really? They'll know that's false. You need to use your name.
There was that race car driver, Dick Trickle. Should we put that on there?
Really?
Dick.
No, because
it autocorrects.
This
turned it into sick.
Well, it is.
You can't be Dick on here.
You could be sick though for putting it. So
the best. Go watch a race where Dick Trickle's in and just listen to the commentary. There's Trickle coming up from behind. Trickle gaining speed.
See, that's the thing. You don't want to put something like this with a group like this because there's no humor.
Yeah,
no humor. You will get the.
Why can't I see this without entering my phone number, zip code? Why can't I do that? Why can't I see what's
because
being asked?
They need to make it as hard as possible so that the public does not know what's happening. Either that or some egghead created it without,
I'm not going to continue. But I wanted to see. What they asked.
What qualifies.
Yeah, I mean.
What qualifies somebody?
You know what it is? It's being 21 years old, not expecting to earn more than $8,000. That's what they put on here. And had to live here for 6 months.
Yeah.
Or something like that. You'd be glad to know that's what the minimum requirements are.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyhow, can't see it. So love the transparency. First, we don't get to elect somebody. And second, we don't get to see the questions or the process into which this is asked. I'm surprised they didn't do a big lake and just put the next person in line or something. Surprised they weren't at that meeting.
Yeah.
And then you could just appoint that person right there. See that? Remember that?
Yeah.
See that person right there? They got the next month. We're just going to put them in there. We're not going to do anything. I can't believe that didn't happen.
Right.
So, but I'll tell you what. There's a leading applicant out there.
Oh, there is. A real charmer.
Somebody who's a friend of this show.
Best of friends.
In love with both of us.
You're my best friend.
Yeah. Who is all in on the appointment. How do we say this? Just keeps coming back and coming back and coming back and coming back. I don't even want to say her name. You can say her name. I'm not going to.
Really? You're making me say the name?
I absolutely am. I can see that smirk on your face.
ReNae J Bowman. The ousted.
I believe that's the one.
The one who was not elected to school board.
Yes.
Last go around.
Mm-hmm. That's the one.
The one who tried to run for election after being defeated and was soundly defeated even more so the second time.
Yes.
That
and
one.
Also the one that ran for school board last time.
Yes.
And did not win either. That's the one, Jay.
It wasn't even the first runner up from what I understand.
Yeah, I was actually going to look that up.
If I remember right. So,
what are your thoughts on our good friend? I mean, here's the thing.
So much history.
And again, I'm going to point this out with, this process here, we have no idea how many people have applied.
Right? Could be one, could be zero. Well, no, it's not zero. We know it's one.
Could be 3, it could be 2, it could be
12,000. We don't know. Although we're sure it's not that. Because that's the other trick that they do in these special appointments. It's like really short turnaround, or they put it over a holiday or a time when they know people are on vacation, and because they really don't want your involvement, they want to make the process streamlined for the people that they have already told about the open seat so that they can apply for it without having other people get in the mix.
ReNae was the first runner-up.
Oh, she was.
The people who won: John Vento, Helen Basket,
Yep.
Greta Becker, Evans Becker.
Oh, from she was at one of the schools up there, Meadow Lake or something. Yeah.
Well, that's no change then.
Yeah.
Sherry Tyrell was defeated, who had been there for a long time.
Yeah.
The fifth voter was Stacy Ryder. Was the fifth voter,
she was actually from that group of 3.
She was running with ReNae.
Yeah.
So she was the runner-up or the first loser, I guess. That's what Dale Earnhardt would have called it, but we'll say the first loser. So not by much. She actually came within about 900 votes of winning.
Huh.
Out of
That's too close for my like. So
we won't give false information though on this.
No.
She was the first runner-up.
Okay.
In the election. So, but she released, and I don't know how this was actually given to me by a friend of mine. I actually didn't know this. That hold on, let me pull it up here again.
We have eyes everywhere.
We do, and I always have people feeding me info. Concerned about Robbinsdale area school district management and governance. That's the group. I can't get into it. I don't know what happened. I can't find it. They must have kicked me out. I thought it was thought it was something different, and I can't access it. So maybe you can, Jay, or I'll have my wife try.
Yeah.
The former mayor, we'll just call her that, submitted an application for the open position on the school board, citing her 14,000 plus votes in the school board election as one of my many qualifications. So that's a qualification
is getting votes.
So that was the main thing about the post there. That
I have some qualifications for ReNae to be on the school board. Her love of children would be one.
And by the way, this is something she can't blame me for, even though I wrote this article. Okay, no more blaming me. You're the one talking.
Okay, this is Jason Bradley of Community Solutions, Minnesota. Yes, I will self-identify and wear this loud and proud. Okay. Article, October 16th, 2018. ReNae Bowman and her friend Julia clothesline Hill by Andrew Richter. A few months ago, we did a post on Crystal City Council candidate Julia Hill threatening to clothesline kids who come near and scare her dog. As serious as that was, this Facebook post from a few years ago directed at the Crystal Police is a tad more serious. Oh, yes. So we got one, too. So this is Julia Suzanne Hill said to the police, a Crystal police officer who felt it beneath him to help us catch my neighbor's dog or even to call in a report, you are embarrassment to that uniform. Anyone who shows such a remarkable lack of character and compassion is not fit to serve the citizens of this community. I'm sure questioning the 2 hot Swedish co-eds who may have or may not have had a permit to sell stuff door to door was more fun, but those same young women were helping us catch the dog. You could have questioned them after Wally was caught. Instead, you made it clear you had absolute zero interest or concern for a dog's life and refused to offer even a smidgen of assistance, and even refused us their assistance in helping catch the dog. Oh, she's a good speller. I realize that you have a certain amount of discretion, but somehow cannot believe that the piece of paper could ever trump a life of someone's pet. Perhaps you would care to explain what fed into our decision. I have my suspicions, of course, but would nonetheless like your explanation. Blah, 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 blah. And it goes down a little further. Not the young idiot with the buzz cut who told me the aggressive dog and the dog part was obviously just playing. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, ReNae Bowman liked that and said, Julia Suzanne Hill, I think you need to run for city council. Okay, so she calls the officer an embarrassment to the uniform and unfit to serve the community. Attacking this officer's character is fairly serious. Does she know the officer's name or credentials? Then she accuses the officer of interviewing Swedish co-eds instead of helping her. Blah, 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 blah. Well, so that's just that's part one. And then later on, Julia Hill also wrote a post talking about how she was taking her dog for a walk and how two kids was a dog and apparently scared her dog because they came up to her dog, and that she had she should be able to reserve the right to clothesline any of those little blankety blanks with the initials MF that come to, and Ms. Bowman liked that as well. So how is she fit to serve the interests of children? How is she fit to decide the fate of our children and what they learn and how they interact in school when she hates them enough to see them clotheslined by somebody?
Well, maybe they'll learn some
Case
lessons
closed.
there,
Stay home.
Yeah, you didn't. You're not supporting racial equity. Clothesline. You're not gender fluid today. Well, I'll tell you what, though. I mean, you look. We have a long history with ReNae, and
yes,
I have to let the beans spill that when she ran, this district is not being run very well. Can I just say that straight up? The district almost deserves her.
Yeah.
I mean, and people don't believe me when I say this, but I'm going to say it. I probably said it on the air last year. I came close to voting for her. I would have destroyed you. And you know what?
Yes.
Yeah, and that was part of my thinking. I didn't want to take the old Bradley Hook for that, But I mean, I almost just thought to myself, what would just? I mean, at least if ReNae were on the board, these meetings might be watchable. I honestly tell you that if you want to torture somebody from a foreign terrorist or something, put them in front of the Robbins team, have them watch endless board meetings. That might be. They should spell it BORED. I mean, to be honest, because there's no dissent on this board. There's no change in the thinking. There's none of that. And as combative and as awful a human being as she is, she may actually bring some of that to the board.
She wouldn't bring anything good.
Yeah.
Let me go on. If you think that...
For the record, I talked about ReNae's redeeming qualities. I just want you to admit that.
I'm sorry, she's not getting near my child. Next, to see how well she fits in with the district unified vision of, equality for all, and especially children of minority families. This is regarding Brendan Banks, who is a current sitting council member with the city of Crystal and the only African American on the city council. Well, the signs are out. So happy that Brendan Banks is running for Ward 2 City Council here in Crystal. Was outed as the Republikkan with 3 Ks, KKK. The Republikkan he is. Oh, so we're calling a black man a Republican, a KKK member. That's great. Do you not understand that they killed black people? I don't think it's funny, and that you think it's funny or that you think it's appropriate shows a deficiency in your character.
Well, I don't think it's funny either, and I think to call a black person, you want to talk about racist. I mean, the idea that, I oppose defunding the police and that makes me a racist.
Yeah.
Calling a black guy a servant of the KKK is, I can't think of a more racist thing other than maybe painting a Confederate flag on his head.
No, but that's what these people on the left do. It's like they can sit and do racist slur after racist slur after racist slur, and they're not racist. The white people are racist. The conservatives are racist, but not the people who do this. You've got these people in California right now calling Larry Elder the black face of a
million different things.
The black face of the white power movement. I'm sorry, but you people are disgusting.
That's terrible.
Look,
I know Larry Elder well enough to know he's not a mouthpiece for anybody.
No.
You can disagree with him, but the guy gives his own opinions and has for a long, and not shy about it either.
Yeah. No.
Well, and she said very, very nasty things to him at council meetings and
all over the place. Like,
to me too. But I mean to Brendan.
Sorry. Yes, to Brendan. To you, local extreme right wing blogger Lil Andy Richter has called me a libtard for several years. I have always worn the name like a badge of honor. After all, Lil Andy is the bestest name calling our Senate district. You mean not like you, who just said. Like that's not a name.
By the way,
yeah.
It's just kind of nobody's called me little before.
Take this as a threat. Lil Andy Richter, your days are numbered on a story about Alex Jones.
Yeah, I know.
Being banned by Twitter.
What did I have to do with Alex Jones?
I mean, you've never went on a rant about Justin Bieber.
I don't think so. If I did, it was entertainment.
And as mayor, I mean, she has lied and lied and lied and lied and lied and lied and lied. I remember, and I wrote an article about it, and I actually had the documentation where she was...
By the way, Jay, not to interrupt here, but you can go to communitysolutions.com or was it
COMMsolutionsMN.com?
Yeah, and archive all this stuff, and we source all of it. This is not.
I'll throw these into the article for the podcast so that people can do that. Yes, this is one I wrote, Mayor Bowman and the truth about Crystal Airport. She had gone around
your backage road.
She went around telling everybody, "Oh, I won't touch the airport. The airport is, there's nothing that's going to happen there."
No. When she ran for office in Ward 4, campaigning in Ward 4, she was all for the airport. Yeah. As soon as she won.
Yeah,
different story.
The airport is handled by the Metropolitan Council. They have a Metropolitan Airport Commission, MAC, and she went to MAC. And I have quotes from her in this article about wanting to get rid of the airport and turn it into housing and possibly an elementary school.
Well, remember, this was all tied to Botno. It was all tied to the and they wanted to tear that down and get money.
Yeah,
because they're not getting tax money from the airport. That's not an area that is paying the city of Crystal. So I think that's really the ulterior motive there, is to go there and to put up high density housing and get as much tax dollars out of it as humanly possible.
Right, absolutely. So she went behind our backs and did that. Nobody knew about it till we wrote about it.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's that. There's all sorts of lies and things. I don't know. Did I write this one or did you write one? The strange case of the truth and the Crystal Bay Air race. All sorts of things she lied about in that. Wow. Some of these are really good. These are just ReNae Bowman quotes that are... As I have campaigned, I've discovered there are no issues communicated by the citizens. No one of the standing room only crowd had an issue with the County Road 81 project? Of course not. Oh.
Well, there's a lot of acceptance. You got to read the fine print.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, this all stems though from not electing somebody, and appointing somebody, and the idea that I'm going to go out on a limb here, Jay. In fact, I'm really not going out on a limb, but I am going to tell you that this move would not be made unless there was a person in line to receive disappointment. I don't buy unless somebody resigns because they're sick, or they resign because they're moving, or life events can happen where you end up resigning. I mean, that happens. Nobody's running for a higher office. There's nothing like that. That tells me that there's a plan in place. I'll use Big Lake. Go back to Big Lake.
Yes.
Remember the former mayor?
Yes.
Rayanne. Raggedy Rayanne. No, I'm kidding. Remember when she stepped down?
Yeah.
You had Mike
Because she
Wallens
won.
there.
Right.
Yeah, you had Mike Wallen there.
Yeah.
Ready to accept a mayor appointment a few days later. You're telling me that
Yes.
they didn't have lunch or get together and say, okay, if I leave.
If I win this commissioner seat with
Yeah.
Sherburne County, I need you to step in. Are
Right.
you ready?
Well, we
Yeah.
got it all planned, and then the next person in line to get Wallen's seat happened to be in the audience.
Yes.
But you're telling me that that was not planned months in advance, possibly?
Possibly. Yeah.
So I don't buy that this person resigns. It takes a month to do it. Remember,
Right.
the verbal attacks were so bad. I'm going to leave, but I'm going to hang around for another month.
Right.
And I'm telling you, that month was probably spent making sure that Jane Doe or John Smith was putting their name in, and they all, wink, wink, nod, nod. That's the person that we want. That's the person who won't make any waves. That's the person who will vote with everybody else, pee in the wind, and vote how we do.
Right.
And I again, as the head of the cynical party here in Minnesota,
Yeah.
it's hard to believe these things happen. But it's hard to believe that this resignation was spur of the moment. You come with a prepared statement. Look, everybody there knew she was quitting. So, I mean,
Yeah. And you know who else knew she was quitting? The teachers union.
well, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
ReNae wasn't endorsed by them, so maybe Sherry bring Sherry Tyrell back. I thought you'd have to drag her off this board, so maybe she'll be the one that comes back, citing her many, many votes and many, many years on the board, where the districts continue to go downhill. Maybe that will be something. I mean, Sherry's been nice to me. I shouldn't say that, but quite frankly, I mean, her and Helen Baskett, they've been on the board forever. It's just kind of like, Vote's been there for a while too. But let me. So my thinking is that ReNae is not going to get this. That it's going to go. Of course, I could be wrong though, because what is the best thing to do? There's an old saying: keep your friends close, your enemies closer.
Yeah.
What's the? I mean, let me think. Just
What is
hear
she
me
gonna
out.
be able? Yeah.
Hear me out. She said the board stinks. They're doing terrible. Blah 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 blah. She said all those things, and she's not wrong on some of it.
No.
Wrong on her solutions, but I mean, wrong
But
on.
she's a far, far, far left radical.
Yeah, probably further left than most of the people on this
She
board.
is
to
a
be blunt.
socialist. Yes.
Yeah. So since she shares the same ideology and is kind of a critic, would that be a person to keep close to the vest?
I don't know, because, I mean, if they were a serious contender, maybe. If they're a loudmouth who is widely criticized and says, like, crazy, crazy things once in a while, I don't know. They kind of disqualify themselves, and that's not really somebody that's a threat to you.
Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, one of the things that you do to something sometimes is appoint a critic.
Yeah.
Okay, pal. You think this is so easy? You do it.
Right.
I mean, I've seen that in employment where
that I understand. Somebody who's not going to vote differently from you.
Right, but they're
Right.
going to hyperventilate more,
Right.
or they're going to whatever. And so it's I'm going to say she doesn't get it because,
Yeah.
like I said, I think the wheels were already in motion for somebody else.
Yeah.
If there wasn't, then there'd be an election going on. If they
Yes.
really cared, there'd be. But I'm interested to see who gets it, and I want to backtrack and see who. Because of course, by the way, great transparency. Not only do you not know the questions, the deadline supposedly was August 30th, and they don't have a list of applicants.
Mm-hmm.
It would take a whole 10 seconds to put that on the website?
Right.
Who these people are, who are going to represent us that we didn't vote for?
Mm-hmm.
So, they're supposed to decide. They're actually supposed to interview very, very soon for this, is what they had said. I think September something or other board meeting. So this is moving quickly. So, because this person resigned technically August 17th, which was not very long ago.
Right.
So
no, they always make it a very tight turnaround. That's how you limit who applies. It's not a fair process. It's not an open process.
Yeah, and even some of the special elections aren't open processes because there's minimum requirements, but who goes beyond the minimum?
No.
See, 351, you don't have to. So what do? 350.
Right.
They do as
and
little.
with this, it's like, we told everybody. Everybody is welcome to apply. Of course, our period for application was 3 days over the 4th of July holiday, but.
And you know what I'd like to see? I want to see their case. Where's the minority representation other than Helen, who's been there forever? Mm-hmm. Don't give me this equity stuff. And then point some white guy here. Let's put your money where your mouth is. You know what I mean? It's just saying, hey, look, we're not going to start this process until we get some diversity in applications.
I think your buddy Blong would be perfect.
Oh man, get Wang, get member Wang. Or what do you call it? What do they call it? Director Wang. That's what it.
I'm sorry I said that.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
Yeah.
Make sure we know which Wang we're talking about. No, all right. I just digest. Yeah. What's that? Is he still? Well, he's still in Minneapolis, right?
I don't know.
We got to get him to move out there.
Where is he?
Because I want to see his name on the ballot again. Plug Wang.
That's not his name.
But it is because I said it. So therefore it is. It's like Rebecca Knocker.
I think it's Yang.
You know what? I'm going to be really disappointed if Knocker is not how you pronounce that. We don't even know. Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah, I'll be disappointed if that's not the case. By the way,
yes,
her and her family were seen recently out. How about a roll tonight?
Okay, wow. That's okay.
Anyhow, look, you want to see...
Glad you can joke while the world's burning down.
Yeah, I sure can. I'm going to go down happy. You can certainly see the former mayor's greatest hits. All over.
Oh, yeah.
The Community Solutions blog.
Just go to the search bar, type in ReNae Bowman, and you will
There's
have
a lot.
enjoyment, hours of enjoyment. Hours.
You could probably Google it, and that's probably what will come up. So,
that is true.
You don't have to go to our blog. You just hit Google. That's you got to admire our dedication, though, Jay.
Yeah.
You really have. I always say this, though. They have only themselves to blame.
Mm.
Because we walked out of that meeting and we're going to replace every one of them. And had they not been a-holes to us, I don't know that would have happened.
Probably be fishing.
I mean, a lot of days I'd rather be doing that. But I mean, do you think, I keep thinking, what an opportunity was missed. Going to a city council, not knowing anybody. Well, okay, I knew Mark Hoffman a little bit.
Yeah.
And I want to say Gary was gone or not there anymore. So knowing nobody, having no idea who these people were, didn't care, just upset about something, and was basically told, you don't like it, go straddle a goat. I mean, that was basically what I was told. And it's kind of like, what the hell? So it was told to the wrong group. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they thought we'd go away. Mm-hmm. Who are these? Just a couple of yahoos. I mean, I know that was the attitude, and that's where, again, I tell your friends closer, your enemies closer. They could have met with us. They could have come to one of our meetings. They could have, there's a million things they could have done that they didn't do.
Right.
And it created history.
It did.
I mean, if I died tomorrow, Jay, nobody could take away those elections from us.
Absolutely not.
So it's kind of just
more wins than MNGOP and CD5. in my lifetime.
That's definitely true. Not even arguable. But the great thing about it was it wasn't about right versus left, at least not for me. You know, I mean, it was and it wasn't.
Right.
I think if anybody made it partisan, it was them.
Oh, yeah.
Who made it partisan.
No, it was about people that just had wrong ideas.
You know, I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
One of these days, as a podcast, we've got to tell the full 2014 election story. Because, of course, that involves me getting kicked off the planning commission.
Yeah.
It involves, you know,
Yeah.
the people we helped run, the people we ran against, the accusations that I was the puppet master of everybody, which I just laugh at. You know, it's like, yeah, but while they're voting, they call me up and ask what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, just
the work we put in, the physical work that we put in to win those elections. I mean, not that the
Mark Hoffman
candidates
lit piece.
The candidates did an amazing job on their own, but I mean, it was
couldn't have done it without the A team.
Combination of all of that together, you know. Just
At
the
some
story.
Point, that whole story has to be told.
Just the story of Mark Hoffman walking into that office.
Well,
shaking his head. We'll have to tell it.
The bigger story was the I'm borrowing your cash. I'm borrowing.
And that video is still up on our YouTube channel. People could go check that out. Community Solutions, MN. Go to our YouTube channel. We put all these podcasts out there. We got some other videos.
I gotta admit,
probably
too,
do more,
the other thing he was not happy about was when, and I really quashed something, was when they wanted to, because they were with that District 281 group that was doing the referendum. Mike Opat was the chair of it.
Right.
And they were trying to, there's a backstory to it.
Yeah.
I probably should save it.
Yeah.
Because I really can't say it without revealing my source. And I don't want to do that to this person.
Right.
But I know for a fact that one of the candidates went to the 281 group and tried to get them to help him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great backstory. And I don't know if I have permission to tell it, but I'm going to hint at it. I think I'll hint at it.
Okay.
All right. Jay, it's that time again. Once again. It's just, I mean, I know you've kind of gone on your rampage already, but
That's okay. I got plenty more fuel for the fire.
you always do. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You always have that.
I'm like an Energizer battery.
And we once again have the sign-off sermon, my friends. Community Solutions, as always, as we do every week, we present styling and profiling as soon as I get the music up. Jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun, the master of disaster, the king of sting. He's got so many nicknames, I can't remember them all. Doesn't matter anyway, you know him. Judging by all the episodes you've watched, and once again, or listened to, and once again, our ratings continue to exceed the U.S. birth rate. And that's hard to do, Jay.
Yes.
The sign-off sermon, we present Jason Bradley.
Thank you, Andrew. I did get worked up today, didn't I?
You're still red.
Yeah.
That's not just the Cherokee in you either. I know that.
No, it's not. No. All right, guys. Guys and gals. We have a lot of work to do. I don't know if you're like me, but you sit back and you watch all this stuff happening around us. Sometimes I don't even know what to say. My mouth is open in disbelief because I hear of what our government has done. Our local governments, our state governments, our federal government. I mean, what did we say? I know not too long ago, I said, hey, these Republicans are dumb because the governor can pick up his emergency powers whenever he wants and put in another shutdown. Well, there are some rumblings about just that happening if this pandemic goes the wrong way again when it gets cold out. Later this fall, later this winter. He sent around a letter. One of our contacts had sent me an email that the governor had sent out through his staff an email sent only to DFL legislators and staff. And the gist of the email was, prepare for swift action as early as October on the part of the governor's office due to the concerns of the quickly spreading Delta variant of the COVID virus. It did not mention that there was a lockdown on the horizon, but it hinted at it. Intimated, right? That's the word. That it hinted that another lockdown was possible. And now I just heard today of another even more deadly variant supposedly coming out of like the Congo that is worse than Delta. What, another booster? We're going to need a fourth shot? 3 isn't enough? Is 8 enough?
8 is enough.
That's what I hear. I don't think it is with this government. So what are we going to do? We're going to just line up and keep getting shots in our arm and doing what they tell us? This is meant to break us down. This is meant to have us follow a certain set of directions so that they can control us. Because when you can get people to be afraid, you can control them. When you make people scared, they will do what you want. That is what has happened throughout despotic governments all throughout time. You control people by making them afraid, and that is what our government is trying to do, whether it's the vaccines and the COVID virus, whether it is the threat of terrorism, whether it is rising prices and inflation, whether it is shortages and things, whether it is what's happening down on the border. Why are they not solving that down on the border? Because they can use the fear that it brings to keep you in line. It's half about bringing in people that are going to vote for them and swaying elections, and it's half about keeping you in line. You know, we are supposed to abide by the laws and be peaceable and honor those who are put in positions above us. But there comes a time when you need to resist. I'm not talking about taking up arms and going out in the streets. No, I'll leave that to the people that want to sit and burn down our city, because where they don't get punished for that, we would. But what I am talking about is what we do bring with us. What we do bring when we get involved, when we go and run for seats, when we go get appointed to seats, when we are able to bring this goodness that we support. You know, a little leaven. Leaven's the whole lump, they say. So we bring a little bit of goodness with us, and that pervades into what the government does. That pervades into what happens in society. Yeah, you know, it is hard, I think, for somebody. I think if you were involved in your community as a business owner, it would be a lot harder for rioters to burn down your business if they're from that community, because you would be a friend to them. Likewise, with government, if you can come in with your ideas and become a well-respected part of that, if you have answers, if you know, you're not just sitting back and complaining, you know, like the two old guys on the Muppet Show, and instead you step in to do something, you bring with you some authority to be able to change some things. And you don't have to legislate through fear. No, because when you bring what is good, people will do it and obey it naturally. And the ones that don't belong in prison. But let me tell you, the ones that come against these kinds of laws because they infringe on our liberties, they're put into people. Dangerous to the government, dangerous to the plans that they have to overthrow, to overtake, and that is how they quell dissension. Putting somebody in prison that killed somebody, that's not about dissension, that is about justice, because they, you know, are a member of the press, because they who write something critical, because they speak up and petition their government, because they refuse to shut down their church, because they carry protection with them in the streets, because they value their lives, because they refuse to let somebody in without a warrant to search their belongings, their home. That, when you punish that is quelling dissension, and that is what despotic regimes have done for centuries. Who gets killed first? It's people like us, the loudmouths, the people with the microphones, the artists that stand up, the musicians that write protest songs. I mean, heck, just this last week, what happened? The Taliban outlawed music, and one of the first people that they killed publicly was a musician, a folk singer. Who's mad at John Denver? You might not like his music, but, I mean, look at him. We are in a place where our time is running short. Our time is running out. The sand is running out of the hourglass, and we're still asleep at the wheel. Oh, we see the bad things happening, I think, finally, and we get upset. But we think it's going to pass. We think it'll go away just like every other time. We think, that's just Sleepy Joe. Oh, that's just Governor football coach doing it again. It's more sinister than that. I mean, those things are fun to say, and they blow off steam, and they're accurate. These people are not fit for the jobs that they're in. They're destroying our country. But we're running out of time. And if we don't do something soon, if we don't stand up and protect our own communities, our own cities, our townships, our school districts, our counties, we will lose. And that's a promise. There is no cheery pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for those of us that decide to stay quiet. There's no hallelujah chorus, no moment of the clouds parting and the sun shining down on us if we don't do something. You think about the Fellowship of the Ring, and whether you read the books or seen the movie, it's like the closer that Frodo got to Mount Doom in Mordor, the closer he got to Mordor, the harder it was, and he lost the people from his fellowship, and pretty soon it was just him and Sam. And that ring got heavy, and it got heavier and heavier because the weight of the responsibility he carried was immense. He had one job: to throw that ring down into the volcano and destroy it. But the weight of what he was carrying, it aged him. And so I understand. I understand firsthand what it's like, as do you. The weight of these stories that are coming out in the news. That there are thousands of people, Americans, left in Afghanistan, left behind by an administration that does not care. Thousands upon thousands of Afghans that helped us, that were left behind by an administration that does not care. 13 military dead because there is an administration that does not care. All of these weapons and vehicles and tactical military equipment left behind because there's an administration that does not care. Businesses shut down for months at a time till owners cannot keep them open any longer and they go under because we've got governors that do not care. We've got mayors that do not care. They don't care about you. They don't care about what you have or don't have. What they care about is implementing a system of complete control upon you. Are you ready? Are you ready to be controlled? Or are you ready to think with a mind of your own? And no matter how heavy the weight of responsibility, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times you lose an election, no matter how many times you get discouraged by what you see in front of you, no matter how many times you work and you work and you work and you get the wrong result, you got to go again until you get the right result. You have to. You have to. You know, we've worked with people that, you know, it took us 3 election cycles to get control of Crystal. And by, I don't mean Andrew and I getting control of Crystal. I mean the people that we helped to be able to come and make the changes needed. Where all 7 seats were replaced and we had people in there that thought differently. First election, if we had quit after that election cycle because we didn't have enough votes to make change, there still never would have been change made. And we've had people that have run and lost that are friends of ours, and we encouraged them to keep at it. And guess what? They're sitting on city councils today. Why? Because they kept at it. They had the tenacity and the intestinal fortitude to try it again. We need 20,000 people in this state to come and be a part of local government. People who are going to hold the line on finances and not put cities in debt. People that are going to keep critical race theory out of our schools. People that are not going to just allow these RDOs, the regional development organizations, to come in and say, all right, counties, here's what we're going to do. Okay. Oh, let's go get the grant money so that we can go build something that is going to be bad for the economic livelihoods of the people we serve. Let's put in bike paths and walking trails, and let's just waste money hand over fist. I'm not saying all those things are bad, and I'm not saying never to build a trail, never to build a path. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is there is a plan to get cars off the streets, to put you on mass transit, to put you in a rental, or to decrease the size of your house because it's not friendly to the environment. A plan to teach your kids in a new secular, racist theology where they are to be ashamed of who they are. Something that undercuts their self-confidence rather than builds them up as human beings and makes them good at what they're talented at. Keeps them from their destiny rather than puts them in the middle of their destiny. So I understand full well, because I'm in the middle of it too, the weight of the responsibility. But you can't shirk it forever, because if you don't fight it, it catches up with you. You may be able to run for a couple of years longer than those who meet it head on, but it will catch up to you. So who's with us? Where are the patriots? No, I don't mean the people that are willing to sit in a meeting or on a Zoom call and talk about things. I mean the people who have action, that want to put something together, that want to see who fits where. And instead of people fighting about, oh, my organization's better than yours, we got 15 people doing the same thing in little fragments, why don't we all figure out where we fit? And let's work together to build something massive that can actually turn the tide. Of course, we want to see what's going on in your communities, and you can always send that information to us. But we also want people that are going to be part of changing culture, that are going to be willing to step in and say, I'm willing to sacrifice what makes me comfortable for the sake of my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. I realize that comfort is fleeting, and there will be no comfort for anyone if we don't stand up and do this now. I'm looking for those people that are going to win or die trying. Get a hold of us, commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. That is commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. Let's do something. Let's do something real. Let's do something big. Let's dream bigger than we ever thought possible and actually change this thing around. Because if we put up a resistance at the local level, we can push that up to the state. We can push that up to Washington, D.C. But it starts here. It starts in our own heart, and it starts in our own home, and then it starts in the community around us. Who's with us? It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be well worth it, and I can promise you that. We love you, Minnesota. And now it's your turn to get to work.
If I get too caught up